Hey guys, it's Ash. Today I want to talk about 5 stocks that I am really interested in as an investor, but this won't be the typical sort of video because in this video I want to talk about these 5 companies that are fundamentally changing the world, and that is the reason why I'm investing. These are stocks that are driving a change in how we live our lives, and the reason I think these companies will do well is because they are the drivers of the car well ahead of the pack. They are the guys that everybody else is looking at from behind as the leader pulls further and further ahead. In this video, I won't talk about numbers, not going to talk about models or forecasts. I do enough of that in every other video. Instead, I'll talk about stocks that are changing our behaviors. They're providing us with the most valuable thing in the world, time. They are also providing us with the second most valuable thing in the world, and that's information. And you know what else is mighty useful when it comes to time and information? atlasVPN, who are the sponsor of today's video. I use VPN services quite a lot for both my work and for fun. I can quickly pick up US finance news without being shown the international homepages. I can also watch US news channels that are simply not available in the UK. And after work, if you're watching Netflix or Amazon Prime through atlasVPN, you can watch shows that are simply not available in your country. And atlasVPN is also super cheap. They are running a huge discount right now, and you can sign up for a 3-year deal at just $1.39 per month. Check it out through the link in the description, and thank you to Atlas for sponsoring this video. So let's talk about these stocks that are changing the world around us. First, let's talk about Tesla. And in this video, I won't be talking about some of the biggest reasons why Tesla is the biggest position in my portfolio. I am not going to talk about their car business or their energy business, the 2 biggest reasons why I'm invested. What I do want to talk about though is their self-driving business, because that is the big elephant that nobody's noticing in the room. I want to tell you what it really means. A lot of people out there don't really understand the importance of Tesla's self-driving business, but this is the single biggest way in which our lives are going to change over the next decade in terms of time, but we don't know it yet. These sorts of changes don't even come about that often. Maybe the internet in the 1990s and then the advent of cars at the beginning of the 20th century are about the 2 biggest times other than this we've had where something similar happened, because for billions of people around the world, the reality of everyday life is that driving is a massive chore. Driving takes up hours of time every single day. And Tesla is years ahead of any competition in developing full-on self-driving technology. Now, don't make the mistake of listening to paid news outlets, random people on social media, or the dinosaur car manufacturers themselves like Ford and GM. There is no other company that has a working prototype that is available for members of the public, that is available for them to try, to put videos up to show how it works and to show the good and the bad sides. There is no other company that can drive anywhere using the same software, because the software is literally learning how to drive based on camera feeds. It's not just following a pre-mapped street like some kind of tram on wheels using rudimentary decision trees. And if you see how far the full self-driving software has come in just the last few months, you will know what's coming. I am the biggest petrol head out there, don't get me wrong. I go on road trips everywhere from Wyoming to Kosovo to Sri Lanka. I like driving. But I can tell you now that that morning commute to the office in traffic can be done by the car or by yourself while, I don't know, I have breakfast, maybe catch up on some work or relax. That is going to be a real game changer. It's going to change our productivity. It's going to free up time that we currently don't have. And that long 3-hour drive to see your relatives is suddenly not so boring when it means that you can watch 3 more episodes of your favorite TV show. Now, we are still years from that vision, don't get me wrong, from full autonomy, but it is incredibly rare for an innovation to literally gift you an hour or 2 of time per day, so I'm happy to wait, and when one of these kinds of innovations does come about, the end result is going to be big. Now, the next company on this list is Google. Google is already one of the biggest companies in the world, so you might kind of think, well, you know, is there much of an opportunity? I do, though, think that people are still massively undervaluing what Google actually is and what that means. Google is the single biggest distributor of information in the world, beating whoever the number 2 company is by several orders of magnitude. This is not an exaggeration. Most of the information that you consume, that you discover, is found for you, suggested to you by Google, the world's biggest search engine. YouTube is the world's second biggest search engine, which is also part of Google. And both of these services are so far ahead of the competition that it's almost impossible now to catch up, because if you try to start, you're just simply not going to get any traction, at least for the next few years. A lot of people using Gmail are also using Google services for accessing all the information they're being specifically sent, and that is now the most popular email platform. I can build a whole lot of models that will tell you a whole lot of numbers in them, but the truth here is this. Google is a company that has completely dominated the way that we access information, what information we consume, and how we consume it. It is in control of one of the most important things in the world. And just like we didn't fully appreciate the value of that control, or the value of being in that position 20 years ago, compared to the way it is monetized today, I can tell you now that in the next 20 years, we're going to see yet more stunning innovation in the space, and Google is going to be sitting there reaping the benefits. Now, the next entry on my list here is Palantir, and this one might seem an odd choice, but Palantir have done something many others have tried and failed to do. They have successfully bridged 3 different functions that used to be completely separate in large organizations before. These 3 functions are data, analytics, and strategy. The unique thing about Palantir is that they are not just a tool provider. They're not just a consultancy. What they are really doing is merging the best bits of those 2 ways of working with a customer together to offer those customers something really unique. They let a company or a government body bring information together from completely different sources that were previously disparate. They then let you analyze that information to make important deductions, to make strategy decisions, to make better data-informed decision-making within your organization. It seems super obvious and simple, but we just haven't had somebody come out and offer this as an almost plug-and-play product before. There are many, endless examples of companies doing one of these things alone, and Palantir is often compared to them when people try to understand, what is all the hype about? Like people asking, why is Palantir better than Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud? Or why is Snowflake not going to eat Palantir's lunch? And those questions mainly stem from people not understanding this fundamental uniqueness of what Palantir does, but the companies that are benefiting from working with Palantir really are seeing the effects. There are a lot of large companies, large government organizations, and even smaller ones out there that will find massive improvements, cost savings, optimization through switching to a genuine data analysis-led decision-making. It is impossible to overstate how backward so many organizations, so many companies out there are. And we're still right at the beginning of that journey. Now, the next company on this list is FIVERR. FIVERR is one of 2 companies that have largely sewn up the online space of outsourced work, and they are continuing to grow and push ahead. The other company alongside them being Upwork. FIVERR and Upwork work in very different ways while sort of achieving a similar outcome. Some workflows naturally are more suited to one or the other. The business model and structure of these 2 companies is, though, very different, and the fundamental fact here is this. The way that companies work is changing, and that change isn't going back. Companies used to hire tens of thousands of people that they didn't actually need. A company would sometimes maybe have a graphic designer for those 2 occasions in the year when they needed them to do some kind of special promotion work, and the rest of the time that graphic designer would sort of pick up bits and bobs and generally sat around twiddling their thumbs. And the quality of the work from that graphic designer was also suffering as a result. Now, businesses are changing how they operate. More and more work is now being outsourced to third parties where previously it would all be done in-house. And the traditional consulting model here doesn't really work. You don't want to go and put out a tender, receive 1 million consulting proposals, sit through pitches by all of them, draw up a complex contract to get every single little bit of work done. Instead, you can just go on Fiverr, click a few buttons, and have the designs done later that day or maybe within a week. And on the other side, more and more professionals around the world are realizing that this old dogma of needing to go out there and get a good job with a good company, to go and move halfway across the world to get the job that you really want to do, that old fact is not a fact. It is not true. It is not really true anymore. The gig economy is changing that in a big way. And we're still extremely early in that process, and Fiverr is the company that is at the forefront of that change. And the last one on my list, is one that maybe you didn't expect unless you are already a Patreon that saw the discussion in our Discord. And that company is Twitter. Because of the nature of the platform, people are very quick to dismiss Twitter, but here is a thought. Twitter is the platform for public discourse and interaction, and there is no alternative. Sure, there are lots of other social media companies out there, but none offer this genuinely fully public many-to-many communication channel that Twitter has made its own. Most of the other platforms are either one-to-one, like WhatsApp and things like that, or one-to-many, which is the most common way. This is things like Instagram. Many of them are closed loops, like for example, forums, right? Twitter is unique in that they have made a many-to-many communication platform genuinely work really well. You can go out on there and listen in on any conversation you want and on any topic, and you can also join in. Increasingly, we're getting the latest news and up-to-the-minute information from Twitter instead of from the breaking news feed on TV. I don't know about you, but when there's something major happening in the world that I want to know the very latest of what's happening from different perspectives, see maybe some videos or photos, I go on Twitter. And as a company, Twitter is still in very, very early stages of monetizing their business, of developing additional products and services. The public forum that Twitter offers is absolutely unique. You do not have to join a Facebook group or write on somebody's wall. You don't have to join a Discord server. And this revolution in people from all over the world having an open public dialogue is bigger than the credit that we are giving to Twitter. And as the world becomes a smaller place, the place where the world meets in conversation and current events is only going to become more important, and that is going to be a huge driver of Twitter's value in the future. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, please don't forget to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it, and as always, I'll see you guys later.